county. And teachers that we have here and the service people we have here, you're just the very best of the best. And on behalf of the board and the central office, we sincerely thank you for what you do every day. Also got a few acknowledgements that I want to and obviously should. This was first class. And Miss Schaefer, please wave at us. Miss Linville, Miss Ramey, and our students that are here tonight that put this together. A few weeks ago, we had a cabinet meeting and we had planned this for some time. Of course, these things kind of sneak up on you and you realize that you have this event and probably haven't talked about it as much as we should. And I get with Mr. Davis and Miss Joni, and I said, where are we on this? You know, what are we going to do and what's it going to look like? And I had a little diagram mapped out. Joni and Dawn just kind of looked at me and said, we'll take care of it. And so, you know, thanks to them, you guys have stepped up in a very nice way to show appreciation to our professionals and our service people, and I thank you for that. I'd like to recognize some of our special guests in attendance. And when I say special guest, obviously we have our school winners here for service and for professional of the year. But I also want to recognize some of our administrators that are here. And if I miss anybody, I apologize. But I'll start with Guyan Valley, and I have Dr. Brittany Porter, principal. Noreen Gallion. At the midway table, we have Principal McComas. Ranger table, we have Principal Mounts. Not at the West Hamlin table, but we have Mr. Hoover in the back. Not at the Hearts table, but we have Principal Blair and Assistant Principal Cooper. Hamlin, we have Principal Huffman and Assistant Principal Bates. Lincoln County High School, Principal Smith. At Duval, we have Assistant Principal Stone and Principal Sansom. At our transportation table, we have Director Stone. I know she's here. She's in the back. And a few folks from central office. We have our Director of Special Education, Joni Shortridge. Federal Programs, Steve Gaines.
Somebody.
Mr. Don Davis, Director of Everything. We also have our former champions from Hamlin Pre-K 8, 2022-2023 Service Person of the Year, Mr. Rodney Adkins. Rodney has held his title well. He's about to give it up, though. And we also have our 2022-2023 Lincoln County Schools Teacher of the Year, and that's Miss McGrady at Hamlin Pre-K. So before we get into the school winners and eventually announce our Service and Teacher of the Year, many of you may not know what this place is. I know we've heard about it, but since I have Joni here, I would like for you to just talk a second about the simulated workplace, what this is, what our students at Lincoln County High School do, and our staff does.
Really is, it's lovely.
A habit. You get home and told what, and
I'll be quick. No problem. Welcome to the county table where everyone has a seat. We are honored to host the service and personnel and teacher of the year nominees. Without the schools, community, and central office staff, this stimulated workplace wouldn't be possible. The county table began years ago as an idea to give students real-world experiences. It grew from the Busy Bee, a coffee cart out of Miss Kayla Schaefer's classroom, into the Growling Grill at LCHS, and now the county table, a nonprofit simulated workplace, recognized by the state of West Virginia as the first of its kind.
Yay.
We provide students.
Yeah.
Tonight, you were able to experience the sweet taste of collaboration, and I do mean sweet, between teachers, students with disabilities, and their same age peers. It's amazing what can happen when we all have a seat at the same table.
Amen.
Persistence. All right, so we'll begin with our service personnel employee of the year school winners. Our first person from Hamlin PKA to Shelley Atkins. Shelley is a special education aide. She exhibits excellent work habits and demonstrates initiative in giving the best care possible for students. She works with small groups in their endeavor to learn. She is always courteous, takes the time to talk with all stakeholders, making it. Our next service person with Hearts Pre-KA is Rhonda Cremines. Rhonda is a school finance secretary. She knows her job inside and out and does it with pride and integrity. She often serves as a mentor to other school secretaries in the county. Ms. Cremines volunteers her time to help with school events, including the talent show and working session stands. She is the backbone of her school and can always be counted on. From Midway Elementary, Tamara Holstein. Tamara Holstein works as a school secretary, but does so much more. She is concerned with student well-being. She makes sure students get their makeup work when absent. If students are partying, she gets the breakfast sending the class. She also helps to manage the staff by helping them to get the items they need for their classroom. She is always courteous and friendly to all students, staff, parents, and visitors. Our next service person from Ranger Elementary is Katrina Moore. Katrina Moore is a school secretary. Her title is secretary. However, the role she plays in her school goes far beyond those responsibilities. Throughout each day, she may be a nurse, a doctor, a bonus mama, a comforter, a friend to all children and staff. She is kind and friendly to all families and strives to help our staff with all their needs. Her efforts ensure that each day goes smoothly. Our next service person from Duval PKA is Cody Newell. Cody is a school custodian. He is a hard worker. He's a dependable team player. He shows respect and dedication to his work by working hard daily. Cody allows the students to come to school in a clean and safe place. Our next service person from Lincoln County High School is Donna Perry. Donna Perry is a special education aide. She escorts students to class, provides support in class, and communicates with parents, teachers, and support staff as needed. She approaches her duties with positivity, pride, dependability, loyalty, and service. She is an excellent example, not only for students, but also for staff.
Let's walk over there and shake hands with
Our
her.
next
After we
service person, Lincoln County Schools bus operator Heather Sampson. Heather Sampson is a bus driver. She is dependable and puts student safety as her number one concern. She keeps a very structured environment on her bus, which helps to keep distractions at a minimum. Her students love and respect her. Our next service person from West Hamlin Elementary is Richard San Gregory. Richard St. Gregory is a school custodian. Mr. St. Gregory performs his job at a very high level. He takes pride in his school and community. He's a great listener and a quick learner when performing new tasks or taking on new duties. He exemplifies a model attitude and work ethic. Our next service person from Guyan Valley Middle School is Amanda Sofa. Amanda Sovic is a special education aide. She is assigned to one student, but never hesitates to help with all students. She volunteers her time to help students to participate in sports-related activities after school. She oversees homecoming each year and also sponsors the pep club. Every student gains countless opportunities thanks to her generosity. You want to get a group picture before we announce?
And don't let them leave, Josh. Josh,
Okay.
don't let them leave. We're gonna shake hands with them. I'll run it along.
You guys. You guys.
This is their time.
Let's shake
It's
hands.
their
with them.
time.
Let them take their picture, but I do think we need to go there and shake hands. That's quite a good picture. That's the ones, that's the ones sometimes you should read it. Oh, wait, you all. You all wait. We want to come and shake your hands.
I've had an hour and a half conversation with Secretary.
I'm gonna get a picture for everyone here for the rest of the meeting.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. Jesus, 1, 2, 3.
That's like everything.
This a regular.
All right, so for our, so this would be the 2023-2024 Lincoln County's Service Person of the Year. I'll read a short narrative and you'll figure it out before I get through. Our county winner is a finance secretary at Harts Pre-K 8. She has been employed by Lincoln County Schools for 18 years and has been at Harts Pre-K 8 for 5. She is a member of the West Virginia School Service Personnel Association and has recently received training in school funds online and finances and fundraising for coaches and teachers. Our winner is also involved in her community. She volunteers for the Harts PK8 Secret Santa program, Hooked on Fishing, Not on Drugs Kids Fishing Tournament at Mud River Lake, and the Hamlin PK8 Monster Dash. She also volunteers her time to mow and clean up Franklin Cemetery and the Lincoln County Shooting Range at Mud River. Finally, she helped to provide dinner for area veterans as part of the Harts PK8 Veterans Day program. Miss Rhonda Cremines. So we have 2 plaques. One plaque is for you, Ms. Cremines, and one plaque is to forever hang at Harts Pre-K 8.
Well. Wonderful one. Bless her heart. Wonderful.
Anything you want to say? You sure? No pressure.
Congratulations.
Let's move on to the Teacher of the Year school winners. Start at West Hamlin Elementary, Miss Catherine Becker. Becker is an amazing first grade teacher who is nationally board certified. She exhibits best instructional practices, classroom management, caring, and high expectations. She takes pride in her teaching and is constantly refining her skills to meet the needs of her students. From Midway Elementary, Mr. Derek Berry. Mr. Berry is a special education teacher for 4th and 5th grade students. He takes great pride in his job and has perfect attendance for the current school year. Derek loves teaching and comes up with creative and fun ways to teach his students. He makes his students proud of the work they do. From Ranger Elementary, Miss Beverly Davis. Beverly Davis is a first grade teacher. She utilizes research-based strategies to instruct her students. She differentiates lessons to meet individual student needs. Ms. Davis is the technology leader for Ranger Elementary and is also an Apple certified teacher. From Hamlin PK8, Ms. Shelby DeHaven. Ms. DeHaven is a middle school music band teacher. Ms. DeHaven incorporates project-based learning into her classroom. Her love of music and teaching inspires her students to want to get better. She also volunteers her time to work with high school band teaching skills to benefit the students as musicians. Lincoln County High School, Miss Joanna Elkins. Ms. Elkins is a CTE instructor. She has great leadership skills, is the department head, and she teaches leadership skills to her host of students, which are demonstrated at the state and national competitions. Her classroom is an example of a simulated workplace. Her students get the opportunity to practice their skills in the real world setting. Hearts Pre-K 8, Miss Leanna Maynard. Maynard is a middle school math teacher. She teaches with rigor while still building positive relationships with her students. She has strong classroom management and uses a variety of data to guide her teaching. Under her tutelage, students are motivated to strive for high standards in academics. From Duval PK8, Randy McFan. Ms. McFan is a middle school special education teacher. Her warm, nurturing nature has built an amazing rapport with her students. She scaffolds instruction to support her students' individual needs. She sets rigorous academic and social and emotional goals for each child in her classroom. From Guyan Valley Middle School, Ms. Ashley Wilson. Ms. Wilson is a middle school math and ELA teacher. She was selected as a fellow of the Mountaineer Mathematics Master Teaching Program. She continues to seek professional development and educational opportunities to increase her efficiency and her students' overall academic achievement. Let's give them all a round of applause.
Josh, after the picture.
Take a picture first.
We'll let them take a picture and then we'll go ahead. This is wonderful. that we can do this in our meetings. Don't leave.
What's that? He said he's trying to get to a softball game.
Forget it, it ain't gonna work.
Not tonight. Not tonight.
Uh,
Guys want to get a photograph?
You might get.
No, no, I think I just love him from over here.
But you, Debbie.
You see her. Oh, friends.
All right. So you'll probably figure out who it is before I finish reading their biography. Our county winner is a middle school mathematics teacher at Hearts Pre-K 8. math for 9 years. Before starting her teaching career, she earned an Associate of Arts in Elementary Education from Southern West Virginia Community and Technical College, as well as a Bachelor of Arts in Elementary Education from Marshall University. During the first year of her teaching experience, she received a certificate in middle school mathematics, and 2 years later, she earned a Master's of Education in Leadership Studies from Marshall University. She continues to assist her school and community by being an active participant on the school leadership team, as well as serving as the school faculty senate president. In an effort to enhance her teaching abilities, she began the National Board Certification process during the 21-22 school year and is still working toward certification. She hopes to reach this goal by December 2023. Our winner is Lena May. As before, Ms. Smith, your flag, take home with you, and this will forever hang at Clark Creek.
Isn't that great? You want to shake hands with you? Yes.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Ms. Mayor. Congratulations.
You did such a good job, buddy. She's cute, like movies. What's wrong with these young men?
All right, before we go on behalf of every member of the Board of Education, we want to congratulate all of you nominees and certainly the winners. You all are what makes this system tick, and we appreciate it very much. So thank you.
Thank you.
Going on to presentations and reports, both item A and B have been stricken from the agenda to be addressed at other board meetings. Brings us to item 5, approval of minutes of the April 19th, April 20th, and April 21st special call meetings. Do I have a motion and a second to approve those
I
meetings?
make that motion.
Burns,
Second.
Jeremy.
Wilson, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? If not, it's unanimous. Under administrative items, motion and a second to discuss these items.
So moved.
Snyder makes the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
The Story makes the second. All in favor for discussion, say aye. Any opposed? None. Brings us to item A, which is in a tabled item from a week or so ago. Ms. Erling, you want to fill us in on that?
Yes, this is an MOU with the DHHR, West Virginia DHHR for Youth Behavioral Health Threat Assessment Program. And this is a partnership between the DHHR, the Fusion Center, 911 school systems to detect if there are threats to school safety on social media, but then also to follow through with services such as mental health services and risk assessments at the school level. So this program, there are 6 regions for DHHR throughout the state, and this program would allow us to participate in that at no cost to us.
No cost.
No cost.
No.
On the memorandum, it says within the limits of available funding and personnel. So
That's a grant-funded program. We would have one person at least that from the school system who would be a point of contact involved in regular virtual meetings
all right.
with that team.
Any other discussion on item A? Not, we move to item B. professional service agreement with John Antonetti in the amount of $6,500. Do you have any discussion?
Can we
If-
table this for discussion later?
Yes, we can come back to this. Motion and a second to pull this item for later discussion.
A second.
Burns and Pastori.
Mhm.
All right, brings us to item.
we
I
don't
would
have
like a
a-
motion and a
Make
second.
a motion that we table all of the Mountain State memorandums of understanding this evening.
Okay, can we have a discussion on this first?
Yes,
Okay, motion and second to discuss items C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, and L. Motion and a second. Motion by Burns,
No, Jody and Dana.
by
Second.
Historian Snyder.
Mhm.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Okay, money is always interesting. I am under the assumption that the ESSER funds is really what we call the COVID funds. Is that correct? Where's Mr. Gaines?
That is correct.
Am I correct in that, Mr. Gaines? Okay.
When do we have to
School-
spend those by?
Well, school systems all over the state, is going to go through a tough time, some more than others, to wean ourselves off the COVID money that runs out. This coming year is really the last year for it. Many counties, and I'm afraid ours has as well, has kind of gotten fat on some of this COVID funds as far as staffing goes. Now, my question that I raised to Miss Superintendent Erling and to Mr. Gaines is, what plans do we have to absorb $1.1 million worth of salaries into the school system without seriously damaging what we've got going on? How do we function? And most of these are central office administrators, technology people, accountants, whatever. How do we function as a county office without this funding? I want to see a plan how we're going to do this. I would like to suggest, and I don't expect you all to answer that tonight, but I do expect it to be answered soon. And I would like to ask this board to set a date for the first meeting in June, that Superintendent Erling and her staff can come up with a staffing plan and a financial plan that will seriously reduce our dependence on this COVID money. We can't take a $1.1 million hit on the county budget once this COVID money is going, but we've got 4 people involved in technology. How are we going to do the operation of the school system without these folks? That's a major problem, and it's facing us right now. So by June, first meeting in June, I'd like to have a report given to this board to address this.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I would also like to follow up on Mr. Pastori's here, that we table these items, or not table, postpone until the first meeting in June. Do I have a second on that?
I second that.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Okay. Brings us down to item M, administration of opioid antagonists. Any discussion? Out-of-state travel, any discussion on that?
there's a Kentucky travel for the softball team that's not included in this, that was been requested.
Yeah, these are one of the exceptions to policy that we make that always comes back to haunt us, but, I,
Who would pay for that,
I
Jackie?
think that once we get down to this,
Well, if
end
they
of
take a
this,
school bus.
we,
that's what they-
we give, Superintendent Erling approval to do that. Okay. All right, item O, P, Q, any discussion? If not, I'll ask for a, motion and a second to approve all those items, excepting the ones that we pulled out already. Item C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, alphabet.
I'll make a
Um,
motion to approve.
Second that motion.
Jeremy motion to approve
Okay,
and.
Wilson makes the motion,
Yes.
Pastori seconds, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Brings us back to item B, which we pulled aside. Professional service agreement with colleagues for John Antonetti. Dr. Burns, you have any comments on that?
Yes, we don't need to spend $6,500 on someone to fly in here and tell us what to do. Our teachers can hear that from people right here in this county who are supervisors and can do it, and that's their job anyway. I just don't see spending this money for a one-day workshop. Too much.
You know what jumps out at me at this is not so much the money, although I agree with you. I think that's exorbitant, but that's kind of what we've done in education forever. If I understood our conversation from last week, and this item is tabled from last week, this is per a teacher academy that's taking place in June. Is that correct?
That's correct.
It's a 5-day academy,
That's correct.
and we're paying teachers about $30,000 a day to attend this academy.
It's, Mr. Gaines, do you know it's $25 an hour. Mr. Lucas is not with us tonight. The Teacher Academy, a rate per day.
Could we have the hours on that?
25 an hour.
How many people?
How many people?
Mr. Gaines, can you come forward?
Yeah, you need to come up so we can hear.
That might be exact figures.
Okay, so we're paying roughly $150 a day per teacher for how many teachers?
It depends on the actual session.
It's
ELA
$200,
session, math session,
25 an
might
hour.
have 40 people per session. So roughly that day, about 100 people that day.
We don't always have a full attendance. It depends on how many teachers come.
So probably about $15,000 for stipends each day.
Okay, 15,000 times
For
5,
5
my
days?
math is correct, to 75,000.
Yes.
Okay. My concern as a board member here is that this is the first I've heard of a teacher academy.
Yeah, me too.
It's never been mentioned to me. I don't know if anybody else
No.
has
I
heard
didn't
anything
know
about it.
anything about it.
It goes right back to these surprises that we have all the time as board members. We're going to spend 75,000, which is not exorbitant situation, but we're going to spend that without board approval. And I question why we're spending it in June, why we don't spend it after July 1 when we've got the new hires in place to benefit from that as well. And I don't know that, I'm assuming that there's been a great deal of thought as to what kind of, I'll call this in-service, what kind of in-service that teaching personnel need. That goes back to Dr. Burns' question about paying the Antonelli guy, which I'm sure is very good. We're just kind of in the dark about this, and that makes me feel uncomfortable. Not against the Teacher Academy, but it seems to me like if somebody had asked me earlier on in the year, I'd have said, why don't you have it after July 1?
Yeah.
Get those new teachers on board. And by the way, what are you going to be instructing people in? I hear all the
The
time,
July one, we have summer school in July, so a lot of our teachers are working summer school, so they wouldn't be able to attend the academy during July 1 through July 27th.
why can't
But
you
what
have,
about August?
why can't you have summer school in June?
Or
You know,
have it- or
The
have
the funding for
in-service in
summer school
August?
is not available till July 1st, correct, Mr. Gaines?
okay,
Not really, it's.
That's when it's been submitted for federal programs
yeah.
that we're doing summer school.
Yeah.
Title II funding is federal programs, and we have a budget for that. The district curriculum team has planned the Teacher Academy based upon research, based upon data, based upon what our students need and our teachers need for student engagement.
that's how it should work, but it should come before the board at some point.
Yes. we
Whatever
agree.
board that
Yeah.
is, it should come before the board.
And this is right after school and they're tired and they want to rest a while. Why don't we do it in the first 2 weeks of August or first week of August?
I mean, we could work on that.
Why,
Yeah.
we ought to, and I think we ought to look at some of the prices we're paying some of these guys.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
is this federal funds that's paying for all this?
Yes, sir.
So if it's federal funds, there's no doubt that there's parameters that go with it. I'm not doubting what you're saying there, but anytime I've ever seen a federal dollar spent, they've always got their fingers on it and they're telling you when to do it and how to do it. So I think we need to check into prior planning before we even knew about it. I mean, some things were planned before we got here. So.
Yeah, I have heard all year about teachers some teachers not being technology savvy. That we've got the Apple lady, I think maybe I call her the Apple lady, but that's part of what she does is to
Yeah,
work
well-
with teachers to make technology savvy. It seems, and that you may have it, but it seems to me like that should be part of any summer workshop that you've got
It
dealing
is.
with teacher
She-
training.
She's doing training as well.
Okay,
on
good. But
that.
see, again, then this
We-
board doesn't
we didn't
know.
know.
So we're in the dark. So we need to be brought up to speed on these things before it
David,
happens.
my wife was a teacher for 37 years.
Yeah.
I don't think she'd want to come in August.
Yeah, so
We just need to know.
I'm just
I-
being
I
honest.
don't
I
think I'd
can't
wanna come
see-
2 weeks after,
can't
school, a
see
week after
her,
school's
uh,
out either.
yeah, that's my
I think she'd
concern.
rather do that than what they're here. I mean, it's a continuing part of the year, the week after school's out. It's not like they take a vacation the day the kids are gone.
Well, the thing of it
Uh,
is, I guess, is that we just didn't know about it. And
Right, I
it looked
understand
to
that.
be,
Yeah,
tremendous amount of money. And we need to sit down and talk with you, Mr. Gaines, about your plans and the superintendent and be aware of who these people are. Are they worth the price? What are they going to do for our teachers? And then plan together on it instead of springing us, here and.
Could I
May
ask
the
a question?
2nd.
Yes,
This
sir.
comes out of Title II funding, which is federal dollars. If we don't spend those, do we lose those?
No, that money can be carried over for next year,
Okay.
50% of it.
How much?
I'm sorry, 40% of Title II money can be carried over.
Okay, 40%. We need to discuss this because if sometimes, this is just from my military days, sometimes if you don't use federal money, you lose federal money. And,
yeah.
Trust me, we will not lose any federal money.
okay,
We have never lost federal money. Don't plan on doing that.
well, I don't plan on leaving.
Title II money can be spent on staff salaries for those staff who provide professional development or actual professional development.
Or the people who come to the,
Actually, yes, yeah.
and I don't want you to think I'm picking on you. But I mean,
Why
it
you
just,
picking on me?
no, well, I wouldn't, but I would like to talk to you about some of our planning together.
You want us to come together at the next board meeting and give the summer.
Well, I can't say next board meeting, but we need to talk about this.
Well, I think we do
at
need-
another time.
I think we do need next board meeting if they're gonna make their dates.
yeah.
We're already in May, but
Well, I
we
know.
gotta get it to them in June if they're gonna do it.
When does the fellow have to know? That Antonetti guy?
Yeah.
I'm not certain.
Yeah.
I'd have to look at the
Is he
MOU.
gonna
It
be here
might
the
have a
whole
date.
week or just one day?
I think one day.
Have we committed
Six
already for him
thousand
to
five
come?
hundred dollars.
No, he's holding the date, but we have to provide the signed agreement, the contract.
And I think you ought to look him up. I think he's written at least 15 to 17 books that I know of. So
But
this is,
$6,500 for one day?
you're talking
Well,
about travel, you're
Right.
talking about
Harry Wong
meals.
paid Harry Wong $10,000.
Didn't.
This material come by May 12th,
But
That's my.
or we.
education is a lot like,
If you look on the bottom sheet of the memorandum of understanding, he has to know by May the 12th to block his day.
yeah,
So we really need to make a decision.
I
That's
would
not
ask
right to
Dr.
hold.
Burns is that this time that we,
I'll vote the
Make it-
way I see it.
well, I understand,
I
but
think
we're,
we ought to do
this
the training
time,
that's already
I
scheduled
think,
in June.
it's late. I don't know how they can change plans, but I agree with you.
I know.
That is too much money for a
Way.
situation like we've got. But
Not when we're laying teachers off
Okay.
and service personnel. I
Yeah.
can't live with that.
okay. Well,
I'll make a
I'm
motion
gonna ask
that
for a
we-
vote.
I'll make, okay.
Um,
Voting, we're voting.
You
Go
want
ahead.
You gonna
a
make,
presentation for the next board meeting?
I'm sorry,
We're gonna vote.
Okay.
We're gonna vote.
what do we vote? Are you all voting on something
Jer-
different than
Jeremy-
me?
No, on
Jeremy-
item B,
Item B, yes, I need a motion in a second to approve.
I make a motion.
To approve.
Wilson,
I second that motion.
Pastori. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed?
No,
Okay, 4-1.
that doesn't surprise me.
Motion carries. All right, that takes care of all under item 6, administrative. Am I correct? Did I miss any? Not, that brings us to the employment of superintendent. Board, do we need an
Thank you.
executive session for
No
this?
reason to, no.
We're gonna pass on the executive session. We have had 11 applicants for the position of superintendent of Lincoln County Schools. We chose to interview 8 of those 11. Probably at least 6 of those 8 could serve as superintendent probably anywhere. Very good interviews, very good credentials, impressive. But we could only select one. This board had made a priority in our goals for the school system, looking around that roughly 20% of our kids go to college. Another 10% go through vocational. That leaves 70% graduating without anything. So this board made a goal to increase our vocational programs drastically. And during the course of our search for superintendent, we think we found a person that could help us in that goal. It is for that reason, I'm going to motion and ask for a second to approve the employment of Frank Barnett, the vocational CTE director of Cabell County Schools, as our superintendent commencing July 1st, 2023. Do I get a
that
second?
motion. Yes, sir.
Bell motions, Pastori seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And it's unanimous. Mr. Frank Barnett from Cabell County Schools will be our superintendent starting July 1st. Finance, motion a second to discuss finance items.
So moved.
I'll second.
Pastori and Burns. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, Again, this doesn't flow well. Motion a second to approve the financial items if there's no
Make a
discussion.
motion to approve as
Ms.
presented.
Story? Snyder, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. I should say, go back to, the new superintendent, that Mr. Barnett will be here at our next meeting, to address the board and introduce himself to Lincoln County. Under personnel, item 9, motion a second, these things don't flow. Obviously, we're going to discuss these things. Motion a second to
So
discuss
moved.
the personnel item.
So moved.
Wilson,
Wilson,
Second.
Dana second.
Snyder, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Okay, personnel schedule. Motion second to approve the personnel schedule.
I make a motion that we approve the person.
Burns,
Yeah.
Second.
Thank
Wilson, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. Comments and concerns. Does anyone have any?
I got a couple there. I would like for this board to consider as a agenda item to add the social worker update so that it's in our face. I think we want these folks to realize and know that we think social workers are something we need in our school system. And I think if that's in our face every time we meet some type of update, then we will be making decisions and discussions about it. Plus, it also, in my mind, shows that we are very transparent what we're going to do and also gives them information.
Yeah.
So I think we need, I think we can't do that because there's not we can put on next week's.
Right,
agenda, correct?
Superintendent Erling, I'm sure you'll put that on for us. Okay. I was going to ask for an executive session for a personnel item that Dr. Erling has been working on. It's waited a long time. It can wait another week, can it? So it's not a really good situation here for executive session, so I'll bypass that.
I got one more thing, Dave, if you don't care.
Yeah.
Today is National Teacher Appreciation Day. And I think as board members, we just want to let you know how much we appreciate you guys. You are truly the heartbeat of our school system. Where you go, that's where we go. So. that's a good thing.
Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Another comment.
Oh, go ahead.
Every night when I go home, I get out my West Virginia law book and I study the school law. And then I get on the internet and I study county policy. There's some policies that we need to update. And I would like for you guys to consider Friday work sessions coming up. And we can go through and update some of the county policies. And I think that we need to do that.
We have a Friday date, I think tentatively planned for a week from this Friday, don't we, to discuss the attendance incentive, giving school personnel money for good attendance.
We'll do it then.
I think that was,
We talked
What was that
about,
date?
there's, well, the 5th and there's the 19th that we talked about possibilities.
5th is out. We
This
can't meet
Friday,
the
and then
agenda
there's The
time.
19th.
How about the 12th?
I don't know if Austin's available. Do you need Austin for that?
Yeah, we probably.
Yeah, we
would.
need
So I
Austin.
think he,
Definitely need Austin.
I need to check on his availability.
Either one of those two dates, I would
12th or the
prefer the
19th.
12th
Yeah.
as soon as we can.
I'll find out.
We can do the policy revision, at least studying the policies on that day work session. And we can devise the plan to improve employee attendance by offering incentive on that day as well.
Yeah.
Or May the 12th is our target date. We can't do that, then we'll move that to the 19th.
Okay, I'll find out.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right. Anybody else got anything else?
No, but I'm so proud of everybody here tonight and all the stuff that you do every single day for our kids. We appreciate it.
Okay, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
The Story, Snyder. The
No,
time,
Jeremy.
is 7:55. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned.